Hey everybody, Danny Orton here, Soccer Expansion Project. I just wanted to look quick video. I know I only did a short last week, a little busy. Right now I'm in Vegas at the US Indoor Conference with the Lily Valley Sports Center, working on lots of great stuff. But I saw this tonight and I wanted to just make mention of it. This might be considered the, I won't say holy grail, but one of the big things why people struggle, coaches struggle, players struggle, and parents struggle, and it's just that disconnect that maybe we could start to have a conversation about. But I saw this from United Soccer Academies on Twitter, and thank them for posting this. We obviously talk about these types of things, and lots of people do, but they talk about the fact that this is a tricky situation, and these are why we're asking parents not to coach from the sideline. So, dear parents, hope you find you a very polite message, but they go through a couple of things. So, confusion and contradictory instructions. So, parents shout instructions from the sideline, differ from the coach instructed. It can cause confusion of the players. They may not know which advice to follow, leading to indecisiveness and mistakes on the field. Of course, no one's going to disagree with that. That makes a lot of sense. One of the examples we've used in the past is, when to go pressure a goalkeeper on the ball. Let's say that you have Onana and Paul Pogba and Wilfred Ndidi in the middle of the field. Some big guys. And the tactic that you've worked on with the players is to sort of not chase the goalkeeper when the goalkeeper's got the ball at their feet, but just go and mark up their closest defenders so that the goalkeeper has to go long, knowing that we'll win the header and then gain possession that way. So if the ball goes to the goalkeeper, it's very easy for someone on the sidelines to start screaming, Jace, close them down, run. Well, that negates the tactic of us winning the ball back in an effective way based on our personnel. So that's a good one. Decision making with players. It's a fast-paced game, so it talks about the rationale behind that. We want players to be self-reliant, make decisions. We've always spoken about the fact that wouldn't it be great if the players were really, really good and no one was there? Wouldn't that be a good sign of our teaching? Distractions, I think that's relatively straightforward. Excuse me. I think one of our experiments that we threatened to do at one point is to put the parents on the field and have 100 people shout at the parents as they play, just to have, not in any nasty way, just to have some sort of understanding of distraction when you're trying to concentrate on a sport that's 360 degrees and being played at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and all of a sudden there are 6 voices screaming in your head. It's very challenging. So they continue. An effective timing of instructions. Soccer is a dynamic sport. Situations change rapidly. So it's basically when that information gets delivered to players. Now, coaches, we talk to players about delivering information during the down moments. So let the players play, let them make a decision. Let's say it's not a great one or needs a little bit of a clarification. The ball goes out for a throw, and a minute later, be like, hey, Sarah, next time that ball comes in, maybe a little tighter, or maybe look for the left winger or whatever it might be. But those messages are delivered in the down moments. There's no way you can deliver messages in the heat of battle, if that's the right phrase. Overwhelming amount of information. There was a kid I worked with, and I remember this, and I was a young coach. His name was Chris Brown, and I felt really bad for him. I saw this. I didn't have any opinions on stuff. I was just a young coach trying to bond with kids and help them and try and teach as best I could. And I didn't have any sort of overarching themes or tactics per se. Like it was just be a good coach, a good guy, help them out individually and go from there. And I remember watching Chris play, and it's for his school team at the time in the mid-2000s or early 2000s. And he literally got the ball, and there was so much information that got thrown at him, he stopped playing. And I remember it vividly. It was pass, dribble, shoot, the typical instruction from the sideline. He stopped playing. He literally put his foot in the ball and he stopped. And the other guy took it off him, and it was a really weird moment. I remember it being sort of pivotal in my in my thought process about being a coach. Like, oh man, that just really messed this kid up. He literally didn't know what to do. I felt so bad for him. And a little bit more on the contradictory approach for coaching. So, we present this to parents. I'm a parent of a soccer player. I don't coach him. It's really tough to not get involved, but I'm finding it really hard to not have I certainly have an internal dialogue, but to not go and just question or ask, what are we doing at these games? I see these 11-year-old boys play, and again, I'm in a parent mode, and not necessarily our team's been really, really pretty good, but they're obviously given a lot of guidance. I'm not downplaying the work of other clubs, but it just happens where all of a sudden there's 5 parents on the sideline screaming at kids, joysticking them, as we say. And I don't know, I don't stand for that. So the other question, or the other task might be, well, how do you deal with that as a parent, as a coach? I remember one time I had a group of players, maybe 15, 16 years old. This is probably about 10 years ago or more, 12 years ago. And their parents were out of hand, but in a nice way. We were playing a local club. There was a little bit of rivalry, I guess, built up amongst them and potentially the parent group. And it was too much. And it was a close match. It was a great game. The kids were 14, 15 years old. Who cares about the result? But the kids competed nicely. Both groups did. It was a well-played match. But the parents were non-stop trying to help these players out. And again, that's the phrase, right? They're trying to help them out. And that's sometimes misunderstood by coaches, that the intention is to help. It's not nefarious or nasty or any. It's to help. And as parents, and again, back to me, I'm a parent, you want to help your kids. It's just intrinsic to you. So I understand it. So there needs to be this dialogue. So I didn't know at half time, I actually said to my co-coach, I said, if you could, handle the halftime team talk, I'm going to have a word with the parents. So I walked over and I didn't know what to do, because how do you broach that in the moment? You're obviously upset. You're obviously angry. And as I was walking over there, I hatched a plan that I think some potentially worked. I literally just walked over and put my hand in the air, which sort of is a sign of defeat, really. Like I come in peace almost, like, I'm here just to have a conversation. I'm not here to scream at you. But I said, hey, I just want to let you know, the soccer police are in town. And they laughed because they knew they're in trouble. And I said, I'm going to be giving out yellow cards and red cards, haha. But at this point here, some of you should be on the yellow, so you got to watch your step. But I want to let you know that, and I'd already made my point. So I thought in the end it was a decent way to approach that without coming over as a jerk. These parents are trying to help. They're excited about the match. They just needed a little bit of guidance. But that was a way to sort of diffuse any hostility that might exist between a coach and a group of parents. And just to come over and say, hey, soccer police, I'm giving out yellows. And it worked. So anyway, I don't know if that helps or not. But the point is, I think that this whole concept of coaches ploughing in hours of work, licensing of backgrounds and volunteer hours or whatever it would be, to be negated by parents on the sideline that show up well-intended but don't understand. I think this is a big one, and it's a really stressful one for me. It's a stressful one, I think, for most coaches. Moms and dads, parents, guardians, fans, please stop. Please stop. If you want to come and have a say on guiding your child in terms of their decisions, come and get a coaching license. I'll help you get that. Come and spend some time with the players. We'll help you do that. Come and help us, negotiate and understand all the things that's involved in being a good player and evaluating those kids. And then we can start the conversation. But until that time, please understand that that's my job. And we always liken this to, of course, heart surgeons or dentists. For coaches that do this full time, for any coach really, that devote any amount of time to helping getting coaching licenses, getting getting things in order, and then spend time with kids and helping them. They're probably away from their family. I know I am, and that's a challenge. We all are. You know, let's just understand that it can be very personal that all of a sudden someone on the sideline is negating all of those things, and it's almost like the work you put in doesn't exist. It's really challenging moment, I find, and I struggle in my head because I get immediately hostile. But I think not outwardly hostile, but I think it's the educational part for parents. They want to help, they want to understand, but they also need to understand things like this document. And so yeah, that's it. Hope that helps, and we'll see you on the next one. Be welcoming of any thoughts or ways that you might handle these types of things. Again, without being too nasty and too combative. Let's understand. I know what I want to say. Back to business. You know, like this is the goal. If we can all agree that this is for the good of the kids, and if we can all agree this is for the good of the team and help your kids be happy and stick with the sport and stay with the sport and not quit and enjoy themselves, enjoy playing. If we can all agree on those things, then we need to work this out, right? Because this is important. So there we go. Cheers.